And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the bottom line. Lanny Ford along with you. Flying solo. Juju will join me here on a pre-recorded interview in just a bit. Little late getting on the air. I've had all kinds of problems this week. My company debit card got hacked. Somebody tried to make some Walmart.com purchases, so I had to cancel that one and come back and get me another one. That's been a little bit of a struggle. And then I got hacked on Facebook, and I had to change password, which all of that stuff meant I had to come in and update my Facebook passwords as well. Good morning, Richie. Good morning, Milton. Glad to have you guys with me here this morning. When I went to go on, this goes through Facebook, through software that I use, so when I went to go on, it didn't want to work right. So needless to say, that was a little bit of a problem. To catch you in the game last night with NC State and Virginia Tech, the game was awful. At least for the first half, I had to turn it off. I couldn't even watch it. It was still 0-0 going deep into the second quarter. And then the announce crew, Dan Mullen, whoever was on there, it was not good as well. It lacked a lot to be desired. So I had to flip all of that away. I just could not deal with it. So and I forget about going over. I have to, because I'm a streaming TV watcher. I cut the cable months ago. I do YouTube TV, and now this is on Amazon Prime. I had to go to Prime. I just didn't go through that much hassle, and it wasn't a game that I was really that interested in. And it turned out Tommy picked up another loss last night. Tampa Bay Bucks fell to Baltimore 27-22. Now, Tommy had a decent night, 325 yards. Let me look at the box score here and just see. I haven't looked deep into the box to see where it's at. Well, why can't I get the box score? Tommy doesn't look good. Tommy looks disinterested. I think he's done after this season. Some people will argue with that. 5th loss in 6 games, dropped him to 3-5 as a starter for the first time in his 23-year career. Okay. Blaine Gabbert sat next to him. Fellow quarterback Ryan Griffin and quarterback's coach Clyde Christensen took turns patting him on the back. You know, this is the thing that I've said over and over. I think you go too long. You think you can keep going, but you really can't. You just can't quite get there. And I think Tom Brady, I hate to see players, I think Peyton Manning was able to manage one more Super Bowl. It wasn't really a huge contribution to him. He kind of managed Denver. It was a Denver defense that did that one. You go back and look at other quarterbacks. Joe Montana did fairly well with Kansas City after he left San Francisco. Johnny Unitas was terrible after he left. Brett Favre kind of bounced around, but not what he was before. It's just you hate to see players take it too far, and I think Tom's going to be one of those. I've learned to like Tom. Tom's better once he got out of the New England situation, and it was not good. Richie said we had that to happen to us personally. We saw some strange things, and they were purchased from Walmart, and they were just around $1, but it was like 6 of them. No, Richie, I had 2 purchases that went to Walmart.com. One was for $318. The other one was for $360. I get a call from a bank with First Federal Savings Bank, and I got a call from their fraud department wanting to know if I had made those purchases, and I immediately said no, and they froze them, so it never really came out of my account. And, Richie, I think you're right. Family issues are showing up on the field of play for Brady, and I think his wife took him at his word that he was ready to retire. And I've said this before. He got the extra Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. He proved what he needed to prove, that it was not just New England, that he could do it. He could do it without Belichick. However, that wasn't enough. And a lot of times it's like that way for athletes. And, a lot of the things that I've read, what the athlete misses more, not the game, not the competition, but the companionship from the locker room. Yep, you miss that. I miss that part. Miss hanging out in the coach's office. Miss taking trips with the coaches. It's the environment, I think, has a lot to do with this as well. Richie said he saw a stat from my Tigers. Since the start of the college football playoff era, Clemson has had 5 games when they had turned the ball over 4+ times. In those games, they are 5-0. That's kind of hard to believe. That you can't keep that up, Richie, and that's the part that concerns me about my Tigers. Now, they're off this week. They take on Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's going to get hammered at Syracuse. So we'll kind of see where that goes. I just don't think it's going to be a good week for Notre Dame. And, I don't know whether I want Clemson to win or lose. I don't think they're a threat in the college football playoff scenario. I just don't think that's going to happen. And you're just going to have to wait and see how that goes. But the part that scares me is there's still eligibility for DJ. Does this continue on into next year? I made this prediction early on. I don't think Clemson is a national championship contender this year. They may make it, but they're going to kind of back in and sneak into it. If you look down through here, let me pull the rankings right quick. I think the 4 best teams in the nation right now are the 4 that's ranked: Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Michigan. Now, Clemson did get 1 vote for number 1, and that was after their Syracuse win. I don't know who did that. That doesn't make any sense to me. But Tennessee is going to have to play Georgia regular season, and then the winner of those 2 should go on to face Alabama in the SEC championship game. So they all 3 could come away with 1 loss, and then what do? I don't think you put 3 SEC teams in there. Michigan is going to have to play Ohio State, and one of them is going to come away with a loss. Clemson could be undefeated, but they've not been in a very strong conference, so I don't know how that plays out. So you're just going to have to kind of see just a little bit. You've still got TCU at 7-0, Oregon at 6-1, Oklahoma State, Southern Cal, Wake Forest is tied for 10th at 6-1, UCLA at 12, Penn State at 13. Ole Miss, Syracuse is at 16, LSU's in there at 18, Kentucky's still in the top 20 at 19. Your Tar Heels, where Mac is back, are ranked number 21. NC State probably won't drop out. They were 24th, but that was an ugly game against not a very good Virginia Tech team. So we'll have to kind of wait and see on that one and kind of where that goes. Richie said he saw a rumor that DJ may be in the portal after this year. He needs to be. If he's not, he needs to be. It's just one of those things that it's going to have to work itself out, but you're going to have a coach that's ready to make that move more than anything. Let's see what else we got. Major League Baseball starts tonight, the World Series. And I believe the schedule is it's 8:03 tonight. Phillies versus the Astros. The schedule looks like this. It takes forever. You're talking about into November to get it done. They play tonight at 8:08. Sorry, 8:03. Tomorrow at 8:03. And then the next game will be Monday, Halloween night. It will be 8:03. All these games starting at 8:03, so that's good. So those games are set for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, if necessary, 8:03. So you're already into November. Do you want the World Series ending in November? I think October's late, but Richie says pull for the umpires, maybe. Let's see, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? Baker Mayfield is now the number 2 quarterback with the Carolina Panthers, and we'll see where that goes. Supposedly, he's being very supportive. If I were the Carolina Panthers, I wouldn't change from P.J. Walker unless he got hurt. I think the guys play for him. I think they play hard. I don't think Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold are with the Panthers next year. They're on the final year of a contract. P.J. Walker, I think, will be. Matt Corral will be. I think P.J. may be the starter coming out or competing for the job, but I'd like to see what Matt Corral brings to the table because I think he could be an asset to them. Run down the NFL schedule. Short show this morning. It's Friday, and I got a laundry list of things to do. Denver at Jacksonville. That's a Sunday morning from Wembley Stadium, 9:30 on ESPN+. Panthers at Atlanta. I can't decide what to do with that one. Atlanta is currently in the top slot of the NFC South only because they have one less loss than Tampa Bay because they haven't played this week. I think that's going to change. But can P.J. Walker pull off the magic again? I felt like they would split with Atlanta this year, but not really sure. Chicago at Dallas, Miami at Detroit, Cardinals at Minnesota, Raiders at New Orleans, the Patriots at the Jets. How long has it been since the Jets beat the Patriots? I think it happens this weekend. My Steelers are going to take a thumping, I'm afraid, down in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Tennessee at Houston. Commanders at Indianapolis. Not sure what's going on in Indianapolis as well. Niners at the Rams. And I'm taking the Niners in that one. The Giants at Seattle. I'm going to take the Giants in that one. Green Bay at Buffalo. They're going to get hammered on Monday night. Have we seen – is this the final year for Aaron Rodgers, or does he hang around for one more year? Cincinnati at Cleveland is your Monday night matchup. So we'll have to see. Rich said he took Atlanta because they're the home team. I don't know that that's enough. I don't know that that's enough. You know, I saw where there were some teams made up to 2 first-round pick offer for Brian Burns. They got to keep him as an anchor for the defense. And the Rams are mad because they wanted CMC. There was a lot of people wanted CMC. You had teams that could play him and play him like he needs to be played. It's just the Carolina Panthers weren't one of them. Let me take a break. Juju will be up next. And hope you're having a good Friday here on a Friday morning. High school football, the final game of the regular season, we will have on WLON. We'll have West Lincoln at Lincoln. Playoffs will be announced tomorrow. Don't think they'll be – the boys will make some speculations here between 8 and 10. I don't think the pairings will actually be out until after lunch. And then we will have playoff football next week. Number of teams in the area should make it into the playoffs. Take a break. Back with more.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stiefel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stiefel Nicholas, member member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
Glad to have you here on a Friday morning. Not quite as cool as we've been having, but we're late, but still going to get it done. We'll check in with our good man, Juju Phillips, and see what's going on with him. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, Landy. Good morning. Always a pleasure. Had
some things going on this week. Couldn't do Thursday. Had to catch up with my family doctor, and we're all good there. And then Wednesday, I had planned to do something, and that didn't work out either. I was down in South Carolina burning video over some theft. So I'm back here on Friday, and we're ready to do something. What's going on, my friend?
Well, playoffs are underway, especially in some of the other sports. Football is right around the corner, but the volleyball playoffs were going on. And, last night, Lanny, Fred T. Ford's volleyball team, which has won, I think, 8 state championships in their school history, they upset the, I think, third-seeded team, West Rowan, beat them in 5 sets last night. So they advance on to I believe it might be the quarterfinals or the semifinals of the Western Regionals. They'll play Kings Mountain coming up next on Saturday with North Iredell, the team lurking there. 28-0 team, but congratulations to Fred T. Ford's volleyball team. They won a match earlier this week to get into the match against West Rowan. They took them to 5 sets last night. They went on to win. And speaking of some other volleyball, our buddy Chris Winkler, coaching at University Christian for his first year, has made it to the state championships and I guess the private school championships. They swept Fayetteville Christian last night, so they're in the finals in the volleyball championships there. And the Newton Conover girls golf team, I just want to throw that out there. Rare that you went back-to-back state championships, but the golf team earlier this week down in Pinehurst brought home the hardware. They won their back-to-back state championships, 1A, 2A golf championships for Newton Conover. So congratulations there. I just want to throw that in there.
Nothing wrong with throwing that in there. You need to recognize those that have done well and had success, and as you said, that's pretty outstanding to be able to do that. I know last night in the NFL, Tommy took another one on the chin. They followed a 3-2. I still think the Bucs will win that ugly NFC South division, but some people argue with me that Tommy's not done. I think Tommy's done after this year.
Oh, I totally agree. He might be done before this year is out.
Well, I don't know about that now. What do you mean he would be done? Who they going to go to?
No, he may step down the way he's playing. You think that he's lost 3 in a row? And he has not looked good against some bad teams in the NFL this year, including the Steelers a couple of weeks ago, and then last night losing again. I think that's their third straight, 4 out of 5. So they're struggling. I think the division, and it could be up for grabs. I mean, the Atlanta Falcons, whom the Panthers play this week, may have a chance to win that division if Tampa doesn't get it turned around and get their act, so to speak, get their act together.
Right now, the Falcons are at the top of that division only because the Bucs have an extra loss because they've already played this week. Falcons at 3-4. I think they go to 4-4 this weekend. I did not pick the Panthers. I don't think. I may go back and pick the Panthers because a healthy Baker Mayfield is the number 2 quarterback this week. Surprised about that?
No, I heard some comments yesterday made in the locker room. He's going to be a good teammate, be the backup quarterback, but P.J. Walker's going to get the start. You kind of wonder what kind of effect that he'll have after his great game last week. Can he follow it up with another good game? Atlanta's defense, I think I've been reading that their defense is pretty bad, and 3 of their 4 starters in the secondary are going to be out. So maybe P.J. Walker will have a chance to maybe have a good game and throw for some yardage and get that Panther offense going for the second straight week. But it's I doubt. I wouldn't be surprised over the next however many games there are left for the Panthers that you will see Baker Mayfield again. You may see Sam Darnold again. Who knows? You may even see Jacob Eason again this year. I doubt that P.J. Walker is going to take all the snaps as the starting quarterback from here until the rest of the year. But you never know. But I'm guessing that we have not seen the last of Baker or some of the other quarterbacks for the Panthers, and we just may see. Maybe pick up each and every week. We'll start this guy this week and see what happens because I don't think anybody on that roster right now will be back next year with the Panthers, with the exception of maybe being Matt Corral, who's on the injured list.
I think Matt Corral and P.J. Walker's back next year until they see what they're going to do. I mean, they've got to have that. That's if they elevate Corral to be the designated starter and then P.J. Walker as a backup. I don't see Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield there, and I think both of those guys, if they're still in the league, will become journeyman quarterbacks, not starting quarterbacks.
No, I agree, and it's with both of those quarterbacks moving on. Giving a chance maybe for some stability. P.J. Walker, is he going to be, depending on where the Panthers draft, I'm guessing they'll probably draft very high in the top 5. Will they go after another quarterback, or will they settle and try to rebuild their offensive line and continue to build their offensive line and get weapons for whoever the quarterback is going to be? Again, that's a big discussion. But as they build up and try to get more and more draft picks, but again, is P.J. Walker going to be part of the Panthers' solution? I mean, he was part of the Matt Rule regime. I don't know if he'll stay around next year, depending on what his contract is. But I could see those two back next year.
Well, he doesn't cost a whole lot of money. That's the big thing. And so that's why I think he'll be around. I think he's a good teammate. I think he's a nice piece to have that doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. Of course, the new coach will make that decision. I don't think it's Steve Wilkes. I don't think he could win out and get it, just to be honest with you. That's such a dysfunctional bunch down there, to say the least. There was some ugly college football on last night. That NC State Virginia Tech game, don't know if you got to see any of it. It was still scoreless deep into the second quarter. I just turned it off. It was bad.
I watched the halftime show and then the first series of the second half when Virginia Tech went up top and threw a long touchdown pass. in that game. And after that, I said, maybe NC State really is struggling. But can they be that bad even with their starting quarterback? Just the quarterback. They had some really good players, and they were ranked 24th in the country.
Yep.
And Virginia Tech has been struggling this year under their first-year head coach. So the part that I saw looked pretty good, but I guess the bigger picture is both teams struggled last night.
Yeah, 22-21 NC State over Virginia Tech. Other college football, Utah over Washington State, 21-17. Southern Miss over the Ragin' Cajuns. Boy, do they miss Billy Napier down in Louisiana.
So that game is played in Jacksonville for a long, long time. I'm not so sure that you rotate it. I'd probably say keep it the same.
Okay. That game's 3:30 on CBS on Saturday.
I haven't given it much thought, but I would just, because I'm a fan of traditions in college sports, keep that same tradition.
One of the top coaches on the hot seat, and I cannot call his name at the moment, but he's the head coach at Auburn. I think Arkansas rolls into Auburn and beats Auburn, and we may see our next Power 5 coach fired at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, Brian Carson is the head coach. He was at Boise State for a number of years. The word is that I don't know if you do it right now, but you definitely, I think they're going to make the move. And I'm guessing they're waiting, just like a lot of schools will, on who else becomes open. Who else? Do they go after an Urban Meyer? Do they go after Matt Rule? I don't know. There'll be a spot up in the Big Ten with Wisconsin. Auburn's is it still a plum job? Is it still one of those jobs that you really absolutely want to have? They've gone through coaches quite a bit. I mean, they're 1 or 2 years, and they're moving on for whatever reason. They won a couple of national championships, but they go through coaches pretty quickly. I guess maybe some schools in the SEC do that, but that's going to be interesting. When that comes open, who applies and who goes after that? Maybe a Dan Mullen.
He was on. Not only was the ball game bad last night, but that announce crew was bad, and it's bad. That was a terrible, terrible announce crew, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm any better, but that was bad to be, a Thursday night game. It just was not good.
Well, ESPN does that. I mean, the guys that do the college scoreboard show on Saturday always do the games on Thursday. I mean, you go all the way back to Lou Holtz. When he used to do those games with Mark May on Thursdays, they weren't really paying attention to the game that much. It was almost like they were doing their
studio show.
Their lounge act up there. Yeah.
No, you're right. Another coach that I'm not seeing on the hot seat, but I think he's gone after this year. And here again, I can't call the name because he's new. The guys at Notre Dame, I think they're going to take a whipping at Syracuse this weekend, and then Notre Dame still got to play Clemson.
Do you want them to take a whipping this weekend at Syracuse so they'll be down when they take on Clemson next week?
I don't really care. I'm not happy with my Tigers right now because I don't think they can get it right.
Well, Notre Dame is definitely struggling, and they hired from within and made him the interim coach and then made him the head coach. He's going through some growing pains. You're absolutely right. You would expect that for a first-time head coach.
Not inside, though, Juju. That's the whole reason not to go outside and get the best candidate and stick with somebody inside is so that you can continue at least close to what you were doing, but they're not even close.
Well, again, because he's a first-time head coach. And, again, there are growing pains, just like a quarterback starting in the NFL or even in college sports. A freshman quarterback or a first-time quarterback, they're going to have their ups and downs. It's not linear. You're going to have a couple of steps forward one week, and next week you may drop back a couple of steps. So, either Notre Dame's going to have to bite the bullet and move on, or they're going to have to bite the bullet and live with him, and as he grows into becoming a head coach, in my opinion.
It's not a happy time up in South Bend. How about the Bears, sir?
Bears and Wingate tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon. That should be a good game. It's usually a very much of a rival game. They played each other in the playoffs over the last 5 or 6 years. They've been the two of the best teams in the South Atlantic Conference. Wingate comes in 7-1. LR 6-2. Bears are still ranked in the top 25, even they lost last week against Newberry. They're 6-2 and ranked 22nd. It's do or die time, Landy, for them. They got to make if they want to make the playoffs for the record 4th consecutive season. They got to win out, and that means winning their final 3 games. Wingate, though, comes in, Landy, with the nation's best defense, scoring defense, rushing defense, all of it. They lead the country in Division II in total defense. The Bear offense is going to have their hands full. I would guess it's going to be a low-scoring game, a very physical game. Kickoff set for 1 o'clock tomorrow. So LR, if they hope to salvage their season and have a season they make the playoffs, I think the conference championship is pretty much by the wayside. Newberry is probably going to win that league or Wingate. Now, there got to be 2 or 3 other games. Some things got to happen to break right for LR to win the conference championship. But if they want to get into the playoffs, which to me is a little bit more important, they got to win out. They got to win their next 3 games. And if they win their next 3 games and finish 9-2, I can almost virtually guarantee they'll make the playoffs as one of the teams in the Southern region.
Mm-hmm. And that's, you hate to say it, but that's kind of the way most major sports have gone in the college world.
Well, yeah, especially in the SAC, they're doing this championship game type thing now. And, if LR does make the championship game and loses the championship game, then they finish 8-3. And that's not going to get you into the playoffs, I don't think, this year. I think 2 losses will get you in, and that's where LR is at right now. Even though they don't make the the championship game of their conference, they could make the playoffs, finishing at 9-2 because of their strength of schedule. The 2 teams that they perhaps have lost to this year, number 1 team in the country, and Newberry, which hopefully they go on to win the regular season conference championship. That'll help LR's strength of schedule. But for the Bears, they can scoreboard watch all they want to, Landy, but they just got to win the game they're playing in each and every week for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
It's got to be better than it was last week, or it's going to be a long day up between the bricks. Yeah. Anything else you got on them, sir?
Not on LR. I wanted to mention, are you familiar with this basketball academy called Donda Academy? I don't know where it's based out of, but the guy who is the founder is Kanye West.
Oh, yes.
And
everybody's kicking him to the curb. I do know that story.
Well, yeah, and he owns this academic academy, and the boys basketball team has shut down because he made some anti-Semitic remarks in public recently. So the principal at this school, and again, he is the founder, the principal shut down the school yesterday. Shut it down. I guess they're going to do everything online. Well, they have a really good basketball program. The reason I mentioned this is one of the guys on the team is a kid from Catawba County, Robert Dillingham, who is rated as the 8th best high school basketball recruit in the country. He's committed to Kentucky. He will graduate in, I would guess, this spring, head to Kentucky next fall. But we're going to see what happens because the team he's playing on, they're not going to play basketball for the rest of this year. So I don't know if he's going to transfer or what's going to happen. But that is pretty much a mess and a big controversy that kind of hit the media last night.
Where would he have played in Catawba County?
He grew up in this part of the county. He went to Jacobs Fork Middle School, would have played Fred T. Ford.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
He's bounced around.
Yeah, basketball, there's been little basketball factories forever when you look at trying to think in Virginia. Fork Union's one. There's a couple of them up there.
He was, he went to, there was that academy in Lincoln County there for a while.
It's still there.
Yeah.
Combine.
And, yeah, the Combine. He went there. Then he committed to NC State. He decommitted to NC State. He was playing out west. I guess it's in California where this academy is at right now. But he has certainly bounced around since his days as a middle school standout at Jacobs Fork Middle School in Catawba County.
What position? Or you don't have positions in basketball anymore?
Yeah, he's a backcourt player. He's a shooting guard.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I think all sponsorships that Keanu West was associated with, everybody's dropped him. That guy just can't figure it out. This is not his first rodeo. He's constantly been in trouble over something, enough to keep his name in the mud. Let's put it that way.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well, you hope that maybe for the kids' sake, the entire basketball program, they got 3 kids that are going to major Division I schools. They got 3 of the top high school basketball recruits in the country, including Robert Dillingham. Now they're looking for a place to play and a place to finish out their high school careers and get a degree.
I'm wondering if they couldn't graduate early.
I would guess that would be the case.
Yeah.
They could do that if they wanted to, depending on how much, how many courses they passed and whatnot. Anything's possible these days.
Yeah. I was not aware of that tentacle of the ongoing struggles with Kiana West. That's interesting, sir. Anything else?
World Series starts tonight, and you're a big baseball fan.
I am. I can't wait. I think it's like 8:08 or something like that.
Yeah, Astros and the Phillies should be some really good baseball, Lanny. The Phillies are playing well. They're hot. And the Astros are maybe the best-run organization in all of sports, one of the best run at least. And so I think it's going to be interesting if you watch the World Series and look ahead to how these rule changes. We can get into that in another show at another time. We've got plenty of time to do that. But all these rule changes are going to take place in baseball next year. How will that affect the pace of play and the way the game is played starting next year? The
one thing you can count on for the Astros is they've got some of the best trash can players in the league.
They do, but I think they've gotten past that. Right.
Okay, well, sometimes people have long memories, Juju.
I know, they do.
I still say, and I've always said this, the prettiest uniforms ever in baseball were the old Astro uniforms that were multicolored, didn't button up. They were pullover type tops. I always loved those bright colors on the Astros. But then I was a creamsicle fan for the Bucks as well.
Very similar uniforms. You're right.
Yes.
Bright orange.
Mm-hmm.
They called it not the sunshine uniforms. I guess they called it the rainbow uniform.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I remember them well. All right, sir. Have a good game tomorrow. I guess I'll see you tomorrow if that offer is still open.
Offer is still open. It's a blackout day, Lanny, so wear your black.
I can do that. And I'll see you again on Monday night right here on The Bottom Line.
As always, thank you, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow.
Ain't no problem. For Juju Phillips, we'll wrap it up here on The Bottom Line. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.